The pot roast was getting cold on the table, but no one seemed to notice. My mother kept refilling everyone's wine glasses, and my older brother Mike was talking loudly, taking up all the space in the room. I mean seriously, he said, waving his fork in the air, who needs a smart collar to track their pet's emotions? That's the dumbest idea I've ever heard. My name is Sophie Chin, I'm 29 years old, and just yesterday, I signed a deal to sell my pet technology company, PoinA, to Google for $4.2 billion, but no one at this dinner table knew that yet. It's not just about emotions, I said quietly, mostly to myself, while pushing peas around on my plate. It can detect early signs of illness. It could save lives. Mike rolled his eyes. Oh, please. The world doesn't need paranoid pet owners panicking every time their cat sneezes. How many of these miracle collars have you even sold? I took a sip of water. I wanted to tell him. I wanted to tell them all that we'd sold 12 million units in the last year, and had double that on the waiting list. But the deal wasn't public yet. The official announcement would go out tomorrow morning. Sales are going well, I said simply. Mike laughed. Right, if sales were going so well, why are you still driving that old Honda and living in a tiny apartment? You should have stuck with investment banking like me, at least that's a real job. My dad cleared his throat, trying to change the subject. Mike, maybe. No, Dad, someone needs to tell her the truth. Mike interrupted. She quit a six-figure job to mess around with gadgets in her garage. It's embarrassing. That garage, he mentioned, was actually a high-tech research facility with 50 engineers working on cutting-edge AI for pet health. But Mike never came to visit. He never asked. How's your merger going? I asked him. He had been bragging about a big deal at his bank for months. Now, his face shifted slightly. It's moving forward. A few hiccups with the numbers. Nothing we can't handle. What he didn't know was that I already knew the details. As part of our talks with Google, I had learned his bank was trying to merge with a failing company that had hidden a bunch of bad assets. The truth would come out soon enough. I'm sure you'll figure it out, I said calmly, and took another bite of cold pot roast. 3 years ago, when I left banking to start PoinA, Mike had been the loudest critic. Banking is real business, he told me. You're wasting your degree on this pet nonsense. But he didn't understand. My time in banking taught me everything I needed to build something real. I saw how the industry ignored innovation, how it failed to see the future. While Mike was moving numbers on a screen, I was building a product that could change lives. The idea for PoinA came to me after my cat, Luna, got sick. By the time I noticed, it was too late. The cancer had already spread. If I had known sooner, if I'd had a way to understand her behavior, her pain, I could have saved her. That's when I realized, pets can't tell us what's wrong, but they do show signs, and AI could help us read them. Back at the dinner table, my mother chimed in. Sophie, sweetie, maybe Mike has a point. You're not getting any younger. And your apartment? I thought of the beautiful house I had just bought in Malibu. I paid for it in cash. The realtor's jaw had dropped. I'd move in after the announcement tomorrow. I like my apartment, Mom, I said. It's close to work. Mike chuckled. Work? You mean your little toy business? Come on, Sophie, even my interns make more than you. If he only knew, his whole bank was worth less than what Google had paid for my toy business. But I didn't say anything. I just smiled and asked my mom to pass the gravy. After dinner, while everyone was getting coffee in the living room, my phone buzzed. It was a text from David, my lead engineer. Everything's ready for tomorrow. Google's press release is good to go. You sure you don't want to tell them now? I looked over at Mike, who was showing off pictures of his new sports car. Some surprises are worth waiting for, I replied. In the kitchen, while I helped my mom with dishes, my dad pulled me aside. You okay, sweetheart? He asked gently. Mike was a little harsh. I dried a plate and looked at him. My dad had always supported me. He bought me my first electronics kit when I was a kid. He believed in me even when no one else did. I'm okay, Dad, I said. Actually, you might want to watch the news tomorrow morning. It's going to be interesting. He gave me a knowing look and smiled. He didn't ask questions. Dad was good at keeping secrets. That night, I drove home in my old Honda. I kept that car because Luna had ridden in it the last time we went to the vet. It reminded me of her, and why I started all this. Another text came in, this one from Sarah Kim, my lawyer. Paperwork's complete. Also, Mike's merger deal just got flagged for a regulatory audit. Great timing. I smiled. Tomorrow, while Mike was trying to explain the mess at his bank, my face would be on the morning news. And not because of him, because of me. The next morning, I got up early and made coffee. The view from my balcony over Silicon Valley looked brighter than usual, or maybe I just felt lighter. At 6:30 a.m., my phone started ringing. CNBC, Bloomberg, Reuters, they'd all seen the press release. Google acquires PoinA for $4.2 billion in largest pet tech deal ever. I skipped the interviews, there'd be time for that later. I turned on the TV instead. At 7:45, there I was, my photo on CNBC next to the headline. Texts flooded in. Mom, Sophie, is this real? Call me. Dad, I knew it, so proud of you, sweetheart. Mike? Nothing. At the office, my team was already celebrating. Some were crying. Most had taken stock instead of high salaries when we started. Now they were millionaires. Miss Chin, my assistant said, rushing up, your brother's bank is calling. They're asking if you're open to investment opportunities. I smiled. Tell them to talk to Google. We're a subsidiary now. 3 years ago, I asked Mike's bank for funding. He laughed me out of the room. Now they were the ones asking for help. Later that day, news broke that Mike's merger had been built on lies. The target company's books were a disaster. His bank's stock started crashing. Around noon, my mom showed up at the office with tears in her eyes. Why didn't you tell us? She asked, pulling me into a hug. All this time, we thought. You thought I was failing, I said gently. You thought Mike was right. When my mom showed up at my office, she looked a little embarrassed. She gave me a weak smile and said, we were just worried about you. You were working so much, living so simply. You could have had an easier life in banking, like Mike. I didn't get upset. I just nodded and led her on a quiet tour of the office. I showed her the research labs where we worked on our AI technology. The walls were filled with thank you letters from pet owners, stories about how our early detection system had saved their pets' lives. Some letters made me tear up when I first read them. They still did. I am comfortable, Mom, I said gently. I've been comfortable for a long time. I just didn't feel the need to flash it around. Just then, my phone buzzed. It was Mike, finally calling me after weeks of silence. I didn't answer. I let it go to voicemail. Later that day, I had my first big meeting with the executive team at Google. They wanted to talk about expansion plans and what my role would be moving forward. They offered me a huge budget, full autonomy, and a new title, Head of Pet Technology. It was surreal, but it felt right. All those long nights, the moments of doubt, the quiet wins, it had all led here. As I left the Google campus, another message from Mike appeared on my phone. Sophie, we need to talk. The merger is falling apart. People won't stop talking about your exit. Maybe you could say something to investors, put in a good word. I stared at it for a moment. I remembered all the family dinners where he laughed at my work, called my company a hobby, and made fun of my silly gadget. Now he wanted my help. When I got home, I saw him waiting for me in the lobby of my building. How did you get in here? I asked, though I already knew. He was still listed as my emergency contact, something I hadn't thought to update. That was going to change. Sophie, please, he said, following me to the elevator. My career's on the line. This merger is a disaster. Our stock is in free fall. You're all anyone's talking about now. You have to help me. I turned and looked him in the eyes. Have to? Like you had to mock me at dinner last week? Like you had to tell everyone I was wasting my life? I was wrong, okay? He snapped. Is that what you want to hear? You win. You're the genius. You're the successful one. Now help your brother. The elevator dinged. We reached my floor. I stepped out. No, Mike, I'm not doing this. This isn't about winning or being a genius. It's about respect. You never respected me, not my work, not my choices. You only saw success as one thing, your thing. Well, now you're learning there's more than one way to succeed. And that lesson, you need to learn it the hard way. He looked stunned. What are you saying? I'm saying, good luck with your merger, Mike. I hear Google's due diligence team is very thorough. Maybe you'll learn something. I walked away and closed the door behind me, letting his voice fade down the hallway. Later that night, I checked my messages. The news had broken. The acquisition had officially made me the youngest self-made female billionaire in tech. Magazine covers were already being planned. Requests for interviews and speaking gigs were coming in fast. But what truly made me smile was one quiet email from a woman in Ohio. "Your device caught my dog's heart condition months before symptoms showed. The vet said we would have lost him otherwise. Thank you." That's what this was all about. I clicked over to my real estate agent's website. The Malibu house I'd bought was finally ready. The movers were coming next week. Maybe I'd invite the family over for dinner sometime soon, let them see what their lost cause daughter had actually been up to. But first, I had work to do. I had a company to run, lives to save. 2 months later, I sat on the balcony of my new Malibu home, watching the ocean. The house was peaceful, modern, with wide open spaces and a soft breeze. One room was dedicated to Luna, my old dog. The reason I'd started all of this. Her things were neatly displayed, along with a wall full of thank you letters from PoinA users. My phone buzzed again. It was another message from Mike. "The merger's dead. Board meeting tomorrow. My position's in danger. Please, Sophie, I need your help." I put the phone down. His bank had lost billions, executives were resigning, and Mike, he was finally facing real consequences. The doorbell rang. Mom and Dad were visiting for the first time. Mom walked in and gasped, "Oh, honey, this is incredible." Dad smiled and walked straight to the wall of letters. He stood there, reading them slowly. "These are what matter, aren't they?" he said. "They are," I nodded. "The money is nice, but this is why I built PoinA. We had dinner on the terrace, prepared by the private chef I'd hired, one little luxury I decided I was allowed to enjoy. As we ate, I noticed Mom was quiet. Finally, she spoke. "Mike's in real trouble, isn't he?" "He is," I said, "but he got himself there." "You could help him," she said, "with your contacts now." I set my fork down. "Do you remember last Christmas, Mom, when Mike spent the whole dinner telling everyone I was wasting my life, that I'd never succeed?" She nodded slowly. "Well, at that exact moment, I was already negotiating with Google. I was already a billionaire, on paper, but I stayed quiet. You know why?" "Why?" Dad asked softly. "Because I wanted to see who he was when he thought I had nothing to offer. Not when he needed something, but when he thought I was beneath him." The next morning, I went to Mike's bank, not to help him, but to attend the board meeting. Google was considering buying one of their AI tools. As head of special projects, it was my job to evaluate it. Mike saw me in the lobby. "Sophie, thank God." I held up a hand. "I'm here for business. Google is evaluating your AI trading software, that's all." His face fell. "But I'm your brother. And for years, you used that to mock me. Now that the tables have turned, you want to use that same connection to save yourself?" I said I was sorry. "No, Mike, you said you were wrong. That's not the same. Wrong means your guess didn't work out. Sorry means you understand the damage you caused, and want to fix it." I walked into the boardroom. Mike followed. During the presentation, I asked tough questions, pointed out flaws, and saw his team scramble. He didn't realize how much I'd grown, how much I'd learned. After the meeting, Dad was waiting outside. "You didn't have to be that tough on him," he said quietly. "I did," I replied, "not to hurt him, but to help him grow. He needed to learn that real success isn't about stepping on others, it's about building something that truly helps people, or pets." Dad looked at me, eyes soft. "You know, you remind me of your grandmother. She fought so hard to build her business. She believed in doing what mattered." I smiled. Grandma Chen had been the first to believe in me. She wrote me my first check and said, "Make something that matters, Sophie." That night, I reviewed the acquisition reports. Mike's bank's tech wasn't worth buying. Too many shortcuts, too much ego, just like Mike. My phone buzzed one last time. "I get it now, I really do. I'm sorry, not because I was wrong, but because I hurt you. Can we talk, for real this time?" I stared at the screen, thinking, about family, about forgiveness, about how people change, or don't. I typed back. "Coffee tomorrow, at my office, let's start over." Because maybe, just maybe, success isn't just about proving others wrong, it's about helping them see another way, even if they have to fall first. I looked out at the ocean. On my desk was Luna's old collar, now updated with our latest PoinA sensor. It wouldn't bring her back, but it was saving other pets every day. And to me, That was what real success looked like, not the mansion, not the headlines, not the billions. But the lives we touch, even the ones that once doubted us.